So hello guys, welcome back. Now let us go to the remaining part of this. This is the second part of this chapter, and that is muscular system. So a few things about muscles first of all that are there given in the NCERT, that are there in NCERT. So it is mesodermal in origin, mesodermal. Okay, even the bones are also mesodermal. Muscle is mesodermal, bone is mesodermal. So therefore you can say this chapter itself is mesodermal. Even the bone is mesodermal, so this chapter itself is mesodermal in origin. So yeah, that's an important point that you can remember here, because you know in the topic of human reproduction, at the end of the topic you will get a list in your entrance classes. They will give you a list of the ectodermally derived organs, mesodermally derived organs, and endodermally derived organs. So if you carefully see that list that you have got till now from your coaching classes, you will see that this muscular system is there, the muscles are there in the mesoderm, even the bone is there in the mesoderm. So this is just a reiteration of that particular fact. Another point is it contributes to 40 to 50% of the body weight. Okay, so if you talk about my weight, I'm an adult now. So in this particular my body weight, 40 to 50% of my weight is actually contributed by the muscles of my body in an adult. So this is seen in an adult. Fine, there might be some differences in children, that is why. Another point is the properties. Properties you need to remember here. So you have 3E here, 1, 2 and 3, and there is a C. Okay, so the first one is excitability. Okay, it can be excited with the help of a nervous system. There are certain nerves that are connecting this. It gets excited, it will contract. This is called as excitability. Second one is elasticity. Okay, you can stretch it and it comes back. Stretching comes back. This is called as elasticity. Otherwise, if it breaks away, if you do some exercises, then your muscle will get broken, and with that it will just tear off like anything, and that is not possible here. So this is because of the elastic property that you are doing all these functions with your muscles. Another point is extensibility. And the last one, that is the only C here, is the contractility. Okay, remember this by heart. Excitability, elasticity, extensibility and contractility. So contraction, extension, elasticity, excitability. So excitability is with the help of the nerves that are actually supplying the muscle. Now you can classify this, and let us start talking about the classification of muscles now. This is very important, guys. So we are classifying the muscles of the body, okay, and you need to have a basis. Basis is location. So based on where they are located in the human body, we are classifying the muscles into 3 types. The first one is skeletal muscles, okay, second is smooth muscles, and third is cardiac muscles. Okay, you can even call this as visceral muscles, smooth or visceral muscles. So these are the 3 types here. So we were classifying this on the basis of location. Now what is the location? First of all, cardiac. This is the heart muscles. See, heart is a muscular organ. It is made up of muscles. So that muscles which make the heart is the cardiac muscle. Smooth muscle and skeletal muscle. This is in association with skeleton. So to move a bone, to move a joint, you require something to pull it, isn't it? The joint is the fulcrum, and it is pulled and it is pushed away. So the bone can be moved with the help of the muscles, and the muscles are attached to the bone. So those muscles attaching to the bone, which will actually move the bone, this is called by the name of skeletal muscle. It is with the skeletal muscles you are moving. The muscle is attached to the bone with the help of tendon, right? So these were certain points that we have just discussed in the previous lectures. The point is that it is associated with the skeleton. It is striated. Striated, you'll have this striations in that. You will see that under the microscope. There are striations, alternate dark and light band. Some part is dark and the next part is light. The other part is dark and the other part is light. So this alternation of the dark and light stripes can be seen on this particular muscle. What else? This is voluntary muscle. Voluntary means, as per NCERT, they are just saying that it is under the influence of, I would like to say, direct control of, under the direct control of N NS, nervous system. I can control my body with the help of my nervous system. These muscles are under the control of nervous system, so I can control it whenever I want. I'm moving my hands, isn't it? How is that possible? It is with the help of skeletal muscles. There are many muscles in my body, I can move them. Now that is why I'm just talking to you. Okay, so even I can teach in front of you because my skeletal muscles are okay, my nervous control of the skeletal muscles are also okay. So this is voluntary, I can move it whenever I want. What else? I need to talk about the function here. The function is locomotion, the basic name of this chapter, and next is body posture. I can move by moving my bone. What is moving my bone? These muscles are moving my bone. I can move these muscles, so the muscles will move the bone, so I can move. So this is body posture. I am sitting in a particular way. I am maintaining my posture in this particular format by maintaining my bones in a particular way. What is maintaining those bones over here? It is my muscles. These are my skeletal muscles. So these are all the things that are given in NCERT. So that is enough for us. Now what else is here? Smooth muscles. This is in association with inner wall of hollow viscera. What is hollow viscera? Examples can be like esophagus, trachea, etc. These are certain things which are hollow from inside, isn't it? So the muscles that make the structures which are there inside the body. You have esophagus, it is muscular. You have the stomach, it is muscular. Intestine, muscular. If you see the wall of these particular GIT, you will see there is, there are serosa, muscularis, mucosa. First chapter, that is digestion and absorption, isn't it? So this muscularis is made up of smooth muscles. You can even write it over here. Muscularis mucosa of the GIT is an example. So the inner wall of hollow viscera, the wall of the hollow viscera, whatever is hollow from inside, like the GIT, stomach, intestine, rectum, anus, the mouth, no, I can't say mouth, even the tongue is smooth, but no, tongue is skeletal. Okay. So the inner wall of the hollow viscera is made up of smooth muscle. The best example is muscularis, isn't it? Muscularis is the part of GIT. If you talk about the gastrointestinal system, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, these are actually having serosa, muscularis, submucosa, mucosa. So here in muscularis, you will be able to see the muscles, typically. Now, this is striated. You can see alternate dark and light stripes. This is non-striated. It is smooth. Okay. And it is involuntary. I am not controlling the movement of my GIT. I am not controlling the movement of stomach, intestine. It is happening as it is. Right. So that is the function. Now let us talk about the function here. What are the things which you need to understand here? First is GIT. Gastrointestinal tract, or I can say the stomach digestive tract. Okay, so that is GIT. And second one is gamete transfer. See, in the ovary, ovum is produced. It has to be taken towards the uterus, and that is through the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube is made up of muscle. Uterus is made up of, but these are all hollow viscera. Just like your GIT, the inside is a lumen, isn't it? Uterus is having a lumen inside. In case of males, even the vas deferens, we have retitestis, tubuli retitestis, vasa efferentia, vas deferens, then we have the ejaculatory duct. So those things are also made up of muscles. That is why it is contracting and relaxing. So this gamete transfer is actually mediated with the help of smooth muscles or the visceral muscles. So the gamete transfer in females and in males, it is actually pushing it forward through the muscles which are contracting and relaxing. So if you have a tube like this, and if one part of the tube is contracting, the other part is relaxing. So whatever is there, the content here, this will be pushed to that side. And then the other part will contract, and just after that, whatever part is there, that will relax. So it will push the content in the forward direction. And that is how the food is taken inside and the gamete is transported to the site where it can be fertilized. The second site, third one is cardiac muscle, isn't it? Even this is striated. There are striations here. You can see alternate dark and light stripes, but it is also, you need to remember that it is branched in nature. So if I am given two muscles and I see the muscles under the microscope, so one was skeletal muscle and the other one is cardiac muscle, how do I make out? Because both are striated. in both of them I am actually identifying that there is alternate dark and light stripes. So how will I understand, how will I know which one is skeletal, which one is cardiac? It is with the help of this particular point that I would like to know, that I will be understanding which one is cardiac and which one is skeletal. Okay, so this is very much important, that the cardiac muscles, although they are striated, they are branched also, but skeletal is not that much branched. There will be few branches here and there obviously, but it is not as branched as the cardiac. Cardiac is profusely branched. Okay, so here the gap junctions are present in between the cells. So the information has to be transmitted throughout the cardiac muscles so that they can contract in unison. When the heart is contracting, the whole atria will contract first. Why? Because the information to contract is passed through all those gap junctions together. If it is a tight junction, the information will not be passed. So one cell will contract, all the other cell will not contract. So the information has to be passed through all the cells together in a synchronized fashion, and that is why there are gap junctions over here. So the three types of junctions are tight, adhering, gap junction. Structural organization in animals, isn't it? So this is the importance of having gap junctions in the cardiac muscle, right? So this is the point. Now what else is there? Voluntary. Is this voluntary? No, it is involuntary. It is involuntary. I am not controlling my heartbeat, isn't it? It is involuntary, and in NCERT they are saying that it is not under the direct control of so this is not under the direct control of NS. When I say nervous system, I am actually meaning the central nervous system, brain. Brain is not directly controlling it. See, brain can send some signals, and through that the heart rate can increase. The number of heartbeats per minute can increase. It can decrease also. So that is the control of the brain. Okay, it can modulate this. But what is actually happening in the heart is happening in the heart. The information for the heart to contract is actually generated within the heart itself. The heart has SA node, AV node, bundle of Purkinje fibers, all these things, isn't it? So that is the nervous system of the heart. The heart muscles, which are the cardiac muscles, are controlled by the conducting system of the heart, SA node, AV node, that is controlling it. Now what is the function of the brain? Brain can increase the function of this, brain can decrease this. It can influence the function of that. It can increase the heart rate, it can decrease the heart rate, it can increase the heart rate. That is the function of the brain, right? But the actual control is coming from the conducting system of the heart itself. So SA node will keep on producing signals at the rate of 72 beats per minute. 72 times the signals are coming. Now suppose I am exercising and I am requiring some 120 beats per minute. So the brain will send signals to the SA node saying that increase the heart rate to 120, and the SA node will generate this. So who is actually controlling the muscle? SA node is controlling the heart muscle, but it is under the control of brain eventually. So that is why you are saying that it is not under the direct control, but it is under the indirect control of the nervous system. Eventually it is the brain itself which is acting here, but it is not a direct kind of a control. Direct control is by the SA node, AV node, bundle of his, all these things, right? So this is the concept that you need to understand here. So if I make a rough representation, these are tubular kind of muscles. Okay, this is how the muscle fibers you will see. So under the microscope, if you see that, this is how the muscle fibers will be arranged. This is a cell. Okay, this is how the cells are arranged here. Now the thing is about these dark and light stripes that you can see over here. This is how the striations look like. Okay, this is the striation. So this is dark and this is light. So I have alternate dark and light stripes here, isn't it? And the branching, it is very, very less. I am not showing any branching over here for the sake of simplicity. Now this is how the smooth muscles will look like. The smooth muscle will look something like this. These are spindle shaped cells which are arranged in this particular format. This is not so big like this. It will be a very thin, small kind of muscle, isn't it? And the nucleus is located in the center. Nucleus is in the center, but in the other one, nucleus is at the base. Here comes the nucleus. Okay, this is where the nucleus lies. Hope you are clear with this. The nucleus is lying at the base or at one end of the cell, right? Now in case of cardiac muscle, I have to make something like this, but it is more branched. So I am showing a lot of branching over here. So this is how the branching occurs, and the other part things are very much similar. So here also I will be showing striations in this particular format. So I'm hoping that you are getting an idea of what actually you are expecting when you see cardiac muscle in or a striated or smooth muscle in under the microscope. So here you have the nucleus. Okay. So and you will have gap junctions between the cells to facilitate the information transfer, so that the whole thing can contract synchronously, simultaneously together. So that is the importance of having these three muscles in the body. So I hope you have understood these things now. Let's go to the next concept here. Now we'll go to the concepts of the skeletal muscle. So this is the structure, this is the diagram that I made for skeletal muscle, isn't it? So let us actually try to bring about this particular image, and we will try to learn this in a more better way and in a more deeper way. Okay, we are going to see this in a more closer approach. So here if you try to understand this particular image here, so here I can see this is actually called by the name of fascicle. Okay, so this is technically called as fascicle. Now this fascicle, if you can see, there will be more than this, there are many bundles over here, isn't it? And you will be having these striations like this. So here you have striations, and you have the nucleus of the individual muscle cells over here at the base, okay, or at the base of the cell. So these fascicles are made of what? Individual cells, isn't it? So there are many cells over here. This is a cell, this is a cell. So wherever you see nucleus, that is a cell. Now these cells are arranged in this particular way, and this particular structure is arranged in the form of a bundle. So this is a group of cells over here, another group, and you are making it as a bundle. Okay, and this bundle is called as the fascicle. So it is made up of cells, and these cells are called as fibers. You will call them as muscle fibers. So the moment you hear the word muscle fiber, remember it is a cell. It is the each and every individual cells that you are referring as muscle fibers. This is a muscle fiber, this is a muscle fiber. You are actually creating that into groups, and you are making a bundle out of that. You will call this as fascicle. Fine. Now many fascicles will be there. If this is a big fascicle, another fascicle I will be having over here, which is in turn made up of many such bundles over here, isn't it? Now this will be there, and then the whole thing is actually covered with the help of a connective tissue sheath. Now this connective tissue sheath that is covering the whole muscle like this is called as fascia, right? So you have muscle cells which are muscle fibers. You are arranging them, you are making a bundle out of them, and you are calling that bundle as fascicle. Now many fascicles will be there, many fascicles will be there. This is creating a muscle. Now this particular structure is actually covered with the help of a fascia. This is called as this is a connective tissue sheath called as fascia. Okay, if you got this particular concept very much thorough, I would like you to take a look at this particular NCERT image. Now you are fit enough to learn this in the best possible way. See, here as I was telling you, there are many individual muscle cells. This is a muscle cell, this is a cross section. Okay, you are just cutting it and you are looking in this particular way. It's a tube like structure, you're cutting it and you are looking in this particular format. Okay, that is what is actually a cross section. This is a cell, this is a cell. So these cells are arranged in a tubular format, isn't it? In a longitudinal format. A cell and another cell and another cell will be there, and you are making it as a group. This is a bundle, and these bundles which are containing individual cells like this is called as the fascicle, as it is mentioned over here. Muscle bundle. The moment you hear the word bundle, you have to say it is a fascicle. If the moment you hear the word cell, it is fiber. You will say muscle fiber. These are the technical names. Okay, cell means muscle fiber. These muscle fibers are arranged, and it is a bundle. It is made into a bundle, and this bundle is called as fascicle. Many such bundles are covered in this particular orange colored or a dark yellow colored sheath like this. This is a connective tissue sheath, and this is called by the name of fascia. Okay, so this in turn becomes a muscle. This is a big muscle here. So this is, the whole thing is called as the muscle. So if you talk about any muscle in your body, say this is your biceps muscle, isn't it? It is separated from the other muscles with the help of this particular fascia that is covering it. You have a muscle, a covering is there, that is fascia. This fascia will separate everything. Okay, so this is medically very important, this fascia thing. Okay, now if you see, they have actually tried to give you certain things other than this over here. So we will write here Sarco Lemma. Okay, Sarcoplasm, Sarcoplasmic Reticulum. Okay, so this is very important. You need to know what are the meanings of these three things. Sarco Lemma is the plasma membrane of what? Of the cell. Only a cell has plasma membrane. Now, which cell are you talking about? You are talking about the muscle fiber. The cell of the muscle is called as muscle fiber. Sarcolemma is the plasma membrane of muscle fiber. Never get confused. When I say muscle fiber, it means a cell. Like this. This is a cell. This is a cell. Isn't it? So these are cells are arranged in the longitudinal format. It is the plasma membrane or the cell membrane of the muscle fiber. You are technically calling this as sarcolemma. Sarcoplasm is the cytoplasm of what? Of the muscle fiber. Cytoplasm of the muscle fiber. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is the endoplasmic reticulum of muscle fiber or the muscle cell. Right? Now, sarcoplasmic reticulum has lot of calcium. So, this is called as storehouse of calcium. Okay, why do you require calcium? Calcium is required for the purpose of muscle contraction. So if the muscle has to contract, we are talking about only skeletal muscles. We are talking about only skeletal muscles, the muscles that you can move. So the moment you say that, okay, the moment you contract a muscle, the muscle should be ready to contract. For that, it requires enormous amount of calcium. And the sarcoplasmic reticulum is the storehouse of calcium. Remember this by heart. This is a very important sentence that everybody knows. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is the storehouse of calcium. So the moment you are trying to contract a muscle, sarcoplasmic reticulum will send its calcium outwards, and then the muscle will start contracting. So for contraction you need calcium. Where is the calcium stored in the muscle? It is stored in the sarcoplasmic reticulum or the endoplasmic reticulum of the muscle. Now you see each fascicle has its own blood supply like this. This is the blood, it will supply it, isn't it? These are the branches coming from the blood, and this blue thing is the vein. Blue thing is the vein, and blood vessel is there. From there the capillaries will come out. Capillaries are the smallest vessels, isn't it? Sarco Lemma. So here you can see they have mentioned a type of muscle cell over here, and this outer membrane of the muscle cell is described to be Sarco Lemma. Now many such muscle fibers are shown over here. And it is here they have said that muscle fiber means muscle cell. Okay, in the description, in the paragraph, they have not said anything about muscle fiber. It is said that in the paragraph, it is said that the fascicle is made up of muscle fibers. Fascicle is a group of muscle fibers, and this muscle fiber is the individual muscle cell. It is given over here in a bracket form. This is important. The moment you hear muscle fiber, remember that, understand that it is muscle cell, each and every single muscle cell. Like what is given over here. This is a cell, this is a cell, each of these is a cell. They are surrounded with the help of a connective tissue again, and then this is made into a bundle, and this is called as fascicle. The whole thing is again surrounded by connective tissue, and this connective tissue that surrounds the whole thing is called as fascia. Right, and there are blood capillaries over here. This is the blood capillaries, small blood vessels. These are branches of the arteries. Right. So now what we need to do is we need to talk about a muscle fiber. What do we do here? We need to talk about a muscle fiber. So let me try to bring this particular image over here again. Now if you look carefully, this is a muscle fiber, muscle cell, isn't it? Yeah, it has many nucleus, so group of cells you can say. So if I talk about muscle fiber like this, muscle fiber means the muscle cells. If I talk about muscle fibers, this is how it is arranged. The point is that it has inside the muscle fiber, you have myofibrils. Okay, inside the cell you have cytoskeleton elements called as myofibrils. Now these myofibrils will contribute to the formation of these kind of alternate dark and light patches. So this is going to contribute to the this is going to create alternate dark and light patches in the cell, isn't it? This is light, this is dark, again light, again dark, again light. So this is how the whole thing is arranged. Now what is there in the myofibril that is going to create this kind of an appearance? This is what we are supposed to know. So there are two proteins here. You require two proteins for the purpose of creating these two patches, these two ambience, isn't it? A dark and light kind of a sensation you are getting while you are looking at this through the microscope. These two proteins are called as actin and myosin. So I am going quick here. So there is actin protein and myosin protein. Remember, actin protein is called as the thin filament. Okay, so it is responsible for the light color here, and myosin is called as thick filament. Okay, perhaps this is very confusing, and this was the most confusing part of this chapter when I was learning. So let me try to enlarge this slightly more. I hope this is much more easier for you to visualize. First of all, we need to know the way in which this actin myosin thing is arranged over here. So you can see this particular structure is actin, okay, and this particular structure is myosin. Myosin is dark, actin is light, that's all. Now this is how they are arranged. Alternatively they are arranged, and this is the reason why you will get an alternate dark and light bands on the structure of the muscle fibers. So the muscle fiber has myofibrils, and what you are actually learning is the structure of the myofibrils which are present inside the muscle fiber. So this is the structure of a myofibril. Now this myofibril which is present inside the cell or the muscle fiber is having alternate dark and light stripes. So this is how it is arranged. Now the point is that, see, there are two bands. Remember these things. The first band is the A band, okay, and the second band is the I band. So I simply means isotropic, okay, and in the isotropic band, if you just carefully visualize what is there over here, I can see only actin. So in this particular portion, if I try to carefully analyze here, if I am looking at this particular part, then I see that I have only actin, 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 here also actin, 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 oh no myosin. So this has only actin, okay. So that is the importance of understanding. I band is isotropic band, it has only actin, so it will be light. While this A band that you can see over here is containing, this is actin, actin, myosin, actin, actin, myosin, actin, actin, myosin. So both myosin and actin. So this is called as anisotropic band. So it contains both actin and myosin. So they can ask you, where is myosin seen? Where is myosin seen? As per textbook, it is clearly written that A band contains myosin, but in the figure you see A band contains both actin and myosin also. In the description they are saying that myosin is there in anisotropic. In the image they have shown that both actin and myosin both are there. So where is myosin seen? Myosin is seen only in anisotropic, while actin is seen in the isotropic and anisotropic both. So in both bands you will see actin, while myosin is seen only in the A band. In the center of the I band, that you can see over here, in the center of the isotropic band, this is the isotropic band, you have a line, dark line here. This is called as the Z line. This is the Z line. Remember that. In the center of the A band, in the center of I band, you have a line, dark line called as Z line. In the center of A band, you have a free zone, H zone. Okay. Now, if you talk about H zone here, what all things are there? In the H zone, I have only myosin. This is becoming very confusing, I know that. So this is only myosin. If I go like this, I see only myosin. I meet only myosin. So H zone contains only myosin, right? The idea is like, see, the actin is overlapping the myosin. Myosin is here, actin is overlapping the myosin. This is actin, this is myosin, it is overlapping the myosin. But actin is not that long, it is not that big that it can overlap the entire myosin. Some part of the myosin is overlapped by actin of this side, some part of the myosin is actually overlapped by actin of the other side. But still the actin is not able to actually overlap this central part of the myosin in the resting state, when the muscle is in the resting state. This is actually the condition of the muscle in the resting state. Okay, in the next video we will understand what is happening when there is contraction. But in the resting state, I am saying that actin is not able to completely overlap the myosin. So when the myosin is not completely overlapped by the actin, there is some free myosin which is available, and this is the free myosin that is not overlapped, and this H zone is the non-overlapped zone. Non-overlapped zone. And the distance between one Z line and the another Z line, this Z line distance is called as the sarcomere. Sarcomere is the functional unit of muscle contraction. Remember that. So sarcomere is the distance between two Z lines. It is the functional unit of muscle contraction. One more point, that the Z line, you see, it is the distance between the two Z lines, and obviously X zone contains only myosin. So where can you see actin? Actin can be seen in I band, it can be seen in A band. Where can you see myosin? Myosin is seen only in the A band. In the center of I band you have Z line. In the center of I band you have Z line. In the center of A band you have this unoverlapped zone which contains only myosin, and that is X zone. So only myosin, X zone. Only actin, I band. Both actin and myosin, A band. Sarcomere is the functional unit of muscle contraction. It is present in between the two Z lines. The distance between the two Z lines is called as the sarcomere. Okay. So let's go to the next concept now. So I hope this is clear. This is a very probable area for question, and it is slightly conceptual also. This requires a bit of understanding. This requires a bit of repeated reading. So I hope you will be doing that before the examination. Now the last concept for this lecture. Remember, there are two types of muscle, red and white. You need to know the differences here. It is easy to understand here, but one point can trick you. Only that point is there. Otherwise everything is very simple. See, red, you have blood which is red. Blood has hemoglobin, isn't it? Hemoglobin carries oxygen. Now in the muscle there is a pigment for the storage of oxygen. This is called as myo. Myo means muscle, globin means protein. So myoglobin means it is the oxygen containing pigment. This is for oxygen storage. So in the muscle, calcium is stored in sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is the storehouse of calcium. Similarly, myoglobin will store oxygen. It is red in color. So this red muscle has large amount of myoglobin. It is so high. In white, it is low. Okay. So the myoglobin is much higher here, giving it red appearance. The myoglobin is very low in the white. Right. Also, you have mitochondria. See, oxygen is so much, isn't it? And for respiration, oxygen is coming in electron transport chain, ETC, electron transport chain. Where is this electron transport chain? There. Where is this particular thing present? In the inner membrane of mitochondria. If this is a mitochondria, you have this particular cristae here, and in the inner membrane here, this is the inner membrane, here comes the electron transport chain. And it is in this electron transport chain that oxygen is required. So if there is plenty of oxygen is available, and if plenty of mitochondria is also available, then it can undergo aerobic respiration because oxygen is available. And for utilization of oxygen, you require mitochondria, because in the aerobic respiration, electron transport chain is that particular area where oxygen is required, and this oxygen is therefore present in plenty of amount because myoglobin is so high, and yes, the mitochondria is also so high. In the mitochondria, in the inner membrane, your aerobic respiration will take place. Just opposite over here, mitochondria is very low. Aerobic respiration will not occur much. There can be some aerobic respiration, but majority, mainly it follows anaerobic respiration. Now comes the very important point. Here the sarcoplasmic reticulum or the endoplasmic reticulum of the muscle. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is very low while it is very high over here. These are the points that you need to remember. So these are all the things that are given in the NCERT. Remember that red muscles are red in color. Red in color means it has myoglobin. Myoglobin, the function is oxygen storage. If there is a lot of oxygen, it can undergo an aerobic respiration. So if it can undergo aerobic respiration, it requires a lot of mitochondria, even that is present. Okay, but in case of white muscle fiber, it is white in color. Why white in color? Because low myoglobin. Why low? So when there is low myoglobin, low oxygen. If there is low oxygen, then it cannot undergo aerobic respiration. It can only undergo anaerobic respiration. So if it cannot undergo aerobic respiration, then what is the need of lot of mitochondria? So mitochondria is also very less. But the contradiction is that sarcoplasmic reticulum is much low in red muscle, sarcoplasmic reticulum is much higher in the white muscle. So everything like this you can just correlate and learn. This is the separate exception that you need to remember, and this is a very important question which is probable. Okay, this is very much important. They can ask you this directly. Everything is, these three things are you will be able to get directly during the examination, but this will be slightly difficult. This is the only twist in this particular lecture, in this particular understanding of this particular concept. Okay, so with that I am coming to the end of this lecture. In the next lecture I hope to cover the entire remaining part of this particular topic, and then subsequently we will be doing more questions from this particular muscle area. Okay, thank you.